There are two things every successful living being needs to do: reproduce and survive. In Minecraft, you can't do the first, and probably shouldn't try, but we're laser focused on not failing to do the second, because death is bad, right? As a contrarian, today I wanted to explain why dying is actually quite a good thing, and that sounds crazy, but just hear me out. By the way, thank you to the roughly 100 of you who join the No Housefire Club every single day. It's something I really appreciate and I think is really great, unlike dying, which is of course awful, because as well as dying and losing your experience and your position in the world, you also, if you die to lava or the end or a cactus, lose all of your items. I think that dying is objectively bad when it comes to these three cases. If you lose all of your items when you die, this is a really big penalty. I mean, I used to play RuneScape, and when you died in that game, you lost all but your 3 most valuable items, and losing, up to 25 items potentially was such a heartbreaking thing in the few cases where it happened. I cannot imagine the pain that comes from losing all of your most valuable items, which is 36 individual slots of your inventory, by the way, plus the 4 for your armor, plus the 1 for your offhand. You can lose 41 valuable things, including stacks of obsidian or your beloved enchanted flint and steel. Okay, that's just me, but still, dying in these 3 cases is objectively bad, and I don't think anyone can really make a great argument as to otherwise. But how often do these things kill you? I mean, this is a whole different category of death to how most people die, because if you're getting killed by cactuses in 2022, maybe you should check out this great Minecraft tutorial I've got called How Not to Die to Cactuses. Do you want to watch it? What's up guys, it's your boy Toycat here with another epic Minecraft tutorial. Today I'm going to teach you how to avoid death by cactuses. So when you see these green spiky blocks, right, you want to not walk into them, and if you do walk into them, make sure you back out at some point in the next 20 seconds and you won't die. Remember to like, favorite, subscribe. Oh, I guess you just have to not walk into the cactuses. Oh, okay, so cactuses, they're an edge case. We're not going to talk about them too much. The end, admittedly, falling off the end can happen when you're bridging if you're not using the crouch. But just remember, crouch in Minecraft. Wow, is there a new enchantment out there that makes crouching even faster so you know you should do it all the time? Yes, there is. And so lava is the only real way you can die and have it be awful. But if you're in a situation where you might fall into lava, such as digging straight down or digging into the nether, bring a fire resistance potion, or just do the bare minimum it takes not to be in those situations. Obviously, this is an easy way to say that those things are avoidable. They're going to happen to you sometimes, but they're not the majority of deaths. The majority of deaths are in a different category to these 3 things, because the only thing that happen to most people when they die, be it by a skeleton or an enderman or even, let's say, the warden, all that's going to happen to you is you're going to lose XP and you're going to respawn in a different location. The most experience you're going to get back is about 7 levels, which means you could lose 93 levels, or I mean, theoretically you could have thousands of levels, and you're going to lose all of them, which could be real bad. And also you're going to respawn in a different location, and presumably the reason you were in a location where you died is because you wanted to be there, which makes both of these things really, really bad. However, all of your stuff will be on the ground and it'll be waiting for you as soon as you get within those chunks ready to pick up your stuff, and so you can go and get all of your stuff back, and you can get up to 7 levels of your experience back, which isn't that terrible, right? Except this video is not called Dying in Minecraft Isn't Terrible, it's actually called Why Dying in Minecraft Is Good. So how is it a good thing when this happens? I mean, having your inventory be messed around and losing XP and respawning sounds terrible, but we've actually left out the other thing that happens to you when you die, which is that your hunger and your health bar reset fully. That's right, if you're on half a hunger shank and half a health bar and you have no food remaining, dying can be a really good option to respawn with full hunger and full health. In fact, in the early game, when you have very few valuable items anyway, I would say that the cost of finding some food to cook, the cost of going into a village and finding a furnace and making all of these different things is much, much, much higher than just dying and bringing yourself back up to full hunger. For the first few Minecraft days, and maybe even beyond that, you could argue the best way to get hunger is, rather than going through all of the steps of making sure you have food on you at all times, making sure you're eating correctly and following all of those rules, it's just when you get to the point where you can't sprint with your hunger bar anymore, is just go and kill yourself. I mean, try and tell me that's not something you've considered in the real world when you've gotten hungry. And so in Minecraft, it's even better because you'll immediately respawn, and if you are planning out your death, if this is a you-based death, then dying is really great because you can respawn right next to your bed. If you die on your bed, in fact, or right next to it, you respawn in the very location you're standing, except you have all of that hunger back. Except what's the other downside? Well, you're going to lose all of your stuff and your experience. Well, in the early game, you don't have much experience, and even if you have a lot of stuff because you've been picking it all up, it can be really frustrating to organize an inventory, and so one of the great things about dying is it forces you to rearrange it. When you pick up your stuff after death, it's never going to be in the exact order that it was before, or statistically is very unlikely to be, and so the great thing about dying is it gives you an opportunity to rearrange all of this stuff. You know, a lot of people are very religious about the fact that they need to have their pickaxe next to their torches, or they need to have their sword next to their torches when they're in the cave so they can fight mobs. However, what if you're in a different situation where you're focused on building? Then having 5 separate tools in your inventory isn't that effective. And of course, I'm the sort of hypocrite who does that stuff all the time, and who even in my Let's Play world, I have 7 slots in my inventory taken up by food and tools and torches and fireworks. And you know, like honestly, maybe it's better to have 9 separate building blocks in there for when you're doing building, and then when you're going caving, you could fill up all 9 slots or 8 of your 9 slots of things that will help you not die and survive. And so rearranging your inventory, a very valuable thing, but not quite as valuable as the other thing, which is because when you die, like I mentioned, it's a real big downside that you immediately teleport to your spawn, except actually, is that a downside? Doesn't that sound like a superpower? There is nothing in Minecraft that allows you to teleport so far instantly. If you want to travel via the Nether, it will take away 8 times the travel distance, because every 1 block in the Nether is 8 blocks in the real world, and that's kind of useful. And obviously, the more advanced version of this feature is if you go to the end and then go through the end portal, it will take you to your current spawn location, so you can teleport from anywhere in your world that has a stronghold, go through that portal and end up at your spawn location. But what if you could teleport from anywhere in the world, not just anywhere with an end portal, and what if you didn't have to go to a different dimension just to immediately appear in a set location that you could choose? That is what dying allows you to do. Want to set your spawn point really high in the air that will take forever to go up in a water elevator? I mean, have you seen my staircase to build height in my super flat world? It takes a long time to climb that. Who has the time to do that when instead what you can just do is place a bed at the top and then make sure you die somewhere at the bottom? Obviously, downside to this method is you're going to lose all of your stuff, except wow, does Minecraft have a solution to that too? The ender chest. Place an ender chest where you intend to die, place an ender chest where you intend to respawn, and now all of your stuff can follow you too with just a little bit of effort. And wow, I mean, it sure does take a long time to move all of this stuff manually, and that's why we have hoppers and chests. Actually, I'm pretty sure hoppers don't work on ender chests. They don't, apparently. Ender chests do not interact with hoppers, which makes a lot of sense because, like, whose inventory would it go into? Like, would it go into the hopper's inventory? Okay, so scratch that idea. You're gonna have to manually place the stuff in there, but still, you can move yourself and all of your stuff across the Minecraft world if you just give up on your experience, which, I mean, can you give up on your experience? This is the most valuable thing you have in Minecraft, except not to most players. Most players, at least based on the YouTube comments, have put mending on all of their stuff. There is no reason not to put mending on your stuff, Toy Cat. Is a thing that I read all day, every day from people who genuinely think it's the best way to go. And so if you are someone who has mending on all of your stuff, or let's just say you have fully enchanted gear, or you don't care about fully enchanted gear and enchantments aren't your biggest priority in the game, then at that point, it's pretty easy to argue that losing XP isn't the biggest downside, and so you can teleport so far, so instantly. In fact, you can place your bed super strategically. You could go next level on this, and you could say to yourself, yeah, I want to go out and I want to explore, but when I'm done with that exploration, I want to immediately teleport home. All you need to do to make one of these journeys possible is bring a single ender chest, make sure that you're bringing as few items as possible so you can bring some back, and now if you travel 10,000 blocks for an ocean monument, or for a woodland mansion, or for an ancient city, you know, these places with these rare blocks that you might want to get your hands on, you can travel all of that distance, collect some of these blocks, and then rather than worrying about the hassle of getting home, place it in the ender chest, commit just a little bit of suicide, or assisted suicide. I mean, all 3 of those places have wonderful ways for you to do that, and boom, now you can take all of that stuff all the way across your world instantly in the fastest way imaginable. Again, if you want to use the Nether to do it, it takes you still 1/8 of the time it takes you to get out there. If you want to use the end, you're going to have to find a stronghold all the way out there, bring some Eyes of Ender to make it work, but all you need for the method of just using death is a little bit of, ability to die, and then also, obviously, you're going to want to bring yourself an ender chest, but that is a much easier thing to craft than an entire end portal, and so this is why dying is good. You get to reset your hunger, you get to rearrange your inventory, you get to teleport, and you get to choose the location that you're teleporting to in a way that cannot be done otherwise in Minecraft yet. I mean, maybe that Ancient City portal is going to bring us something like that. There'd be a lot of fun to it. And yeah, the only downside is you're losing your experience, and if you happen to die in lava, you lose all of your stuff. But pro tip, don't die in lava. Did you know there's a potion that allows you to avoid that? And so I think the only thing left to talk about, now that we've concluded that dying is a pretty powerful thing, is to say that dying is a good thing for Minecraft, not just in the sense that you can use it to your advantage, but also the fear of dying is good. I think that dying is a good part of the equation that makes Minecraft a great survival game. It brings balance to Minecraft, and trying to avoid it is a lot of the fun for a lot of people. Embracing it can actually make the game a better time, in my opinion, though, because so many people can just be frustrated by these terrible things and all of this craziness of creepers and phantoms, and I'm totally guilty of this myself, really wanting to not die because it's gonna be terrible, and only bad people die in Minecraft. If you're a real pro, you never die. But a better way to think about it, unless you're doing a speed run where dying will literally bring you back away from what you're probably doing. Most speed runs don't involve dying. Unless you're doing something that is of this super high precise caliber, you might be better seeing dying as an opportunity rather than purely a downside. I think that to conclude an entire video, dying is totally fine. It's a normal thing. It happens to the best of us, and it shouldn't be something that you fear. Unless it's fiery, explosion-y, or voidy, in which case actually dying is terrible and you should still avoid it at all costs. I mean, this is especially relevant with that big, scary, bossy monster that everyone's wanting to take down these days. Don't worry if you die the first time, although maybe the fun is in making sure that you don't die rather than in not dying. You ever consider that? What if the challenge in Minecraft, the fun in the game, is not in having built a big structure, it's in actually the process of building it? What if, even though we think that our goal is to build the thing, we think our goal is to not die, the fun is in trying to do those things? What if the fun in life is in trying? Perhaps we could say, this is too deep for a Minecraft video, but I hope you all enjoyed it, because if you did, like it or something, maybe subscribe, and let me know what you thought about this format, because I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.